I am Susie Rapp, and I am from Eureka, Illinois. I am an accountant. I like to think of myself as a cooler than some accountants. I grew up in church, went to college, got involved in the campus crusades and all the campus ministries, and then when I graduated, floated around to a couple churches, and then stepped away from the church when I met the boy. In 2008, I was getting ready to go through a divorce, and so knew I needed to get back to my faith roots, and found First Christian and a wonderful small group that were some great friends, and to help get through that transition. I think anytime you hit a major milestone in life, or a trauma, a divorce, I think the only way you can get through that is by the grace of God. I'm a firm believer that no matter what you've gone through, and I feel like I've had a pretty messy adult life, that God can make beauty from those ashes and redeem the mistakes that you've made or the choices that you've made. If I didn't have faith, I probably never would have taken the biggest step of my life by adopting my son as a single mom. Like, I don't think I would have had the strength or the push or the nudge to do it, to get through it, to even take that first step. I didn't want to be a mom. I wanted to be a ceiling breaker, glass shattering, powerful woman within the business world. When I first got married, that was our choice. We were never going to have kids. I wanted to live the good life, make a lot of money, have a lot of prestige, travel the world. I quickly realized it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's not fulfilling. It doesn't make who you are. And after about a year, I started following different adoption blogs, and lots of people I knew were starting the adoption process. I started feeling the pull that this was an avenue I should be taking, or we should be taking. And talked to my husband at the time, and he was like, absolutely not. Shortly after that conversation, kind of our whole marriage started unraveling. And so we ended up getting a divorce. About 6 months later, he had a change of heart. We started going to church together. We did the counseling thing. We got remarried, and the goal was to we'll have a family of our own. He already had 2 children, but we would expand that. Ultimately, that didn't work out, and we made another choice to divorce. So that's my baggage, messy. 2 divorces, same guy. But God really used that. He redeemed those actions. When you have 2 divorces in your history, it's hard. Because growing up, I never dreamt I'd be that girl, ever. The second time I walked away from my marriage or made those choices, there's not a doubt in my mind that I hadn't done everything I could to make that work. And so when the divorce happened, a lot of people would think that I only did that to start a family. And that couldn't have been the furthest thing from my mind, actually. I thought I would get remarried and then start a family. But the summer after the divorce, we were sitting in church and we were singing Oceans. I literally just felt the nudge, like, this is your time. You need to step out on the water. You need to trust me. I'm going to take you places you never thought you would go, because I'm a business owner, and that means I work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I work 7 days a week during tax season. I had another friend who's like, don't ever do this as a single mom. It's too hard. And I had that in my head. I'm like, people are going to think I'm crazy. And I am. But God doesn't think you're crazy. And so I started the process and kind of was just like, God, if this is if I'm hearing you correctly, you're going to open doors, you're going to make this just happen. And he threw them all wide open. Start to finish, less than a year, Noah was home. The phone call came August 31st of 2016. And sorry. She called and she goes, we have a child for you to look at. And I'm like, okay. And then I finally get home that night, and I can get onto my email, and I look up at the picture, and there's just one picture of Noah completely smirking, like as a 1-year-old little boy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's even got the rap sassiness. Like, you are totally my kid. And so I said yes. And 9 months later, literally from the day I got his file, I was leaving for China. and to pick him up. And he's been in our family for 3 years now. He has completely been my beauty from the ashes. He has made everything that I've gone through in life worth it. This phase of my life is just all about Noah. I'll never forget that my parents had no clue how I would be as a mom because I'm such a high-strung person and no patience, and he's the only one I'm patient with. But I feel like this is where he wants me. When I meet him, I want him to say, "You did a good job raising that child." I couldn't care about anything else but doing right by Noah. That's what I think God wants me to do right now. You know, 10 years ago, God just started with, okay, you can't adopt, but you can do something. So that was just a monthly donation or finding people who were adopting and donating to them, or, you know, and then the next step was a missions trip, and then ultimately leads, but to adopting. But even if you can't do the big thing of adoption or anything, any kind of volunteer, there's always something small you can do. And that one small act may not seem much to you, but to that person or to that organization or to that community, it can mean the world. If you feel a nudge or you feel God kind of step out in faith, walk the water with him, take that, trust him, let him lead you wherever it could be. And pretty sure it's not anywhere you imagine. But trust that and enjoy it. My name is Susie Rapp, and this is my story.